It is a beautiful day today, and it's probably the first time I'm actually out in my garden and it's not 90 plus degrees. I think it's like in the mid 70s, which is absolutely amazing. So I'm going to take advantage and spend at least a couple hours out here today harvesting, doing some chores, general maintenance. The squash plants need a little bit more BT injected in them for squash vine borer. I need to look around on the tomato plants for hornworms because they just started popping up this week. I did pull one this morning. I have a feeling there's still a couple more in here somewhere that I need to pull. I've got carrots to thin, and I think that's it. Thought I had more, but this type of thing is once I start looking around this garden and once I start doing things, more get piled on my list because I notice like, oh, that needs help, this needs help. So let's just see what we get into today. My bush beans this year have been kind of like a standout crop. I think you can probably see there's a couple in there. There's a nice one there. And they're kind of just everywhere. I have been harvesting at least like a medium-sized bowl every 2 to 3 days. I've got in this bed, these are all bush beans here up on the border. And then we take a walk over here. These are all bush beans here through here. And you can see how bad this is wilting. This is how I know the squash vine borer are here, but we'll get to that. But all of these are bush beans in here, and all of these have a ton of beans that are ready to harvest. So I want to go ahead and pull these. This variety here is called like Maxibel. I will leave a link in the description of the video for the exact seeds. It's my first year growing them, and I like them. They taste good. They give a good size green bean. They're kind of more like long and slender. And the seed says they're stringless. And so far I agree. However, my non-stringless, or I guess my string variety green beans, I don't even really de-string those. So I don't know. That's not like a feature that I care much about. But these plants are good. They're producing a lot. But I feel like even though they're bush beans, they're kind of floppy. Like you can see this one is like kind of falling over, and it's quite tall. Like it's got some of these pieces up here that really get big, and they're bush beans, so you're not supposed to have to trellis them, but I have found myself putting these stakes in throughout this bed anyways, just to help them up, because they kind of just like fall and flop all over the place. So I don't know. I'm thinking maybe if I would have planted more beans in this bed, because I did space them out quite a bit, maybe they would have like helped each other out and supported each other more, and then I wouldn't need the stakes. But I don't know. I'll show you in the next bed over the other variety that I'm growing that I'm enjoying a lot more because the plants are a lot more compact. But I mean, so far, pretty good little harvest. I mean, and that was just 2 plants that I did. And I did just do this like 2 nights ago. Like I said, it's like every 2 to 3 days, I'm getting a pretty good size bowl full. And then up here on this trellis, like next to me, I think you can probably see it. These are all pole beans, so green beans also, but they grow up a pole. They need the cattle panel to trellis, so those aren't ready yet. They probably won't be ready for a few more weeks, but yeah, all these bush beans have been doing really good for me this season. I just pulled all of those in that bed. This is what I got, so not bad, but I want to see what we get in the other bed because the other one is a lot more productive. These ones over here are the Contender variety. And I feel like the beans are just a little bigger. And I feel like each plant is a little bit more prolific than the Maxibel ones in the other bed. And this is a bad example because this whole, plant is toppling over. But I feel like they're just like a thicker, bushier plant in general, where the other ones I felt like were stringier, like the plant itself. So these ones I like a lot better. And these ones, I don't think there's any flowers on here to show you, but oh yeah, right here. Let's see. It'll focus in on this for you. These ones have purple flowers where the other ones have white ones, and I find the purple ones to be so much prettier. So I feel like moving forward, I'll probably only do this Contender variety. I pressure canned a ton of pole beans last year, and we still have like 5.5 quarts left. And I didn't really like it, and I think that's why we have 5.5 quarts left, because I just don't really love the taste of the beans. They're edible and we'll eat them, but it's not enjoyable. So this year I am freezing a lot of them, and then we also just got a freeze dryer. So I'm also freeze drying them, and so far I'm really liking the way they taste freeze dried. They taste really good like right out of the freeze dryer, almost like a snack. It's almost like what's that snack that people have? They're not chips, they're like veggie straws. They kind of remind me of like veggie straws. So I feel like that's a really good snack if you have like kids or something and you want them to eat more veggies. Maybe freeze-dried green beans can do the trick. But then also when we rehydrated the green beans after the freeze dryer, they also tasted good. The texture was a little off, I'm not gonna lie. The texture wasn't perfect. I need to do a little bit more research on how to like rehydrate them so the texture is still there, but the taste was amazing and they were just as fresh. And I have been told that with freeze drying, you maintain like 97 plus amount, 97% of the nutrients, if not more, where in like pressure canning, you lose some because of the heat. This is the final bowl. So I got a little bit more. As you can see, I feel like these ones are just thicker and bigger compared to if I can dig to the bottom. Those Maxibels, I felt like were longer and skinnier. So they're both good beans, but I think the Contenders are probably what I'm gonna grow more of in the future. I don't know how much longer I have with these green beans growing because I've never grown them before. I've always grown pole beans, which pole beans grow and produce like basically the whole season until something kills the plant, like frost or disease, or similar to like indeterminate tomatoes, where I've heard bush beans are like determinate tomatoes or like Romas, where they'll put on a really big crop and then they die. And I've been harvesting them consistently for a few weeks now. So I don't know, like I don't know how much longer I have. Some of their leaves are already starting to yellow, but that could just be like normal because it's also been ridiculously hot these last few weeks. So I don't know. If you grow bush beans, let me know like how long you can usually harvest them for. I'm also, while I'm here, I've got this San Marzano bed next to me. I'm just gonna grab a couple of tomatoes and then I need to get away from this bed because the San Marzanos are actually putting me into somewhat of like a garden depression. The deer, is that a, oh my gosh. Look at this. I can't believe I just spotted this. See what I see on my Roma tomatoes. Oh my gosh, look at that giant hornworm. These things will destroy your tomato plants. And I have found, oh my gosh, I don't even want to touch this nasty thing, but I gotta do it. And I gotta do it with my left hand because I'm holding the camera with my right. Oh my gosh, it's got a grip. Okay, can I do it? I'm strong. And I just squish them. These guys will destroy your tomato plants. You can see where he was this the leaf he was on or this one? I can't even remember already, probably this one, but they eat the leaves down. There was probably one here eating this and they will destroy your plants. So if you see those, definitely kill them. The thing though about my San Marzanos is the deer have been clearing me out. This plant alone, this was all tomatoes. This was tomatoes. That was tomatoes. That was tomatoes. This was tomatoes. I think they have, and I'm like no word of a lie, I think they have stolen over 100 tomatoes from me so far this season. We have tried so many things to stop the deer. I have tried liquid fence, Repel-Zol, Irish Spring soap. I've got a fishing line fence around the entire border. I thought all of that was working for a while, and then the deer just kept coming back and like literally in one night stole at least 80 tomatoes. Like I can't talk about it for too long. I actually get so sad about it. But I think we finally are having some relief. Dylan installed motion activated sprinklers on the border of the whole garden. And then he also set up ring cameras. And last night we saw the ring camera pick up a deer. We did not see the sprinklers go off, but I think our settings with our ring cameras weren't like turned up enough to be sensitive enough. So we did some adjustments with it today. But yeah, I think the deer problem might be solved, but I don't know for sure. If you are having a deer problem too, and you're interested in like kind of everything we've tried, let me know in the comments. I was thinking about making a video like specifically on it, but I don't know that our solution, like with the sprinklers and the cameras, is 100% working yet. It looks like it is, but I don't want to like put a video out showing you guys these sprinklers are kind of expensive if we don't know for sure that they're working or not. So we're gonna monitor over the next like week or so. And if they are truly saving our garden and you guys are interested, I will post a video on it and give you like all the details, but I'm not gonna do that until I know that they actually work. I just went through and harvested a few Roma tomatoes, about this size-ish. I got a couple beefsteaks, pretty good, nice size. And then I grabbed some of the Marzanos. Let me see if I can show you. Oh yeah, you can see the whole bowl. Not bad, just a few tomatoes here and there. And yes, I know these aren't bright red. They're not completely ripe. We won't be eating these for a few days, but I like to harvest my tomatoes when they're about this color, once they start blushing, because they will ripen fully on the counter. They will taste just as good if, you know, that versus just ripening fully on the vine. And me picking these early makes sure that one, I actually get my tomatoes and the deer or chipmunks or any other critters don't get them. And it prevents them from splitting if it were to like rain. We get really heavy rains sometimes. And the Cherokee purples, which I did not harvest any today, I got a couple yesterday. Those are really prone to splitting. So I always harvest those as soon as they start turning. But even this one, you can kind of see like up in here. Gosh, I hope it's focusing. It's starting to split already. So as soon as they start blushing, I go ahead and I pull them. Gives me like the best quality tomato. And yeah, I think it's good like that. So not bad. I'm shocked this cilantro has lasted as long as it has, because cilantro usually bolts pretty quickly in the heat. But I mean, it is starting to bolt. It smells really good. If you can see, can you see these white flowers? Oh, there's an ant. Okay, you can see these white flowers on here. Hoping it'll focus. If you see these white flowers and you honestly, if you start to see your cilantro kind of like being spiny and really thin on the top, that means it's starting to bolt, it's starting to go to seed, and starting to produce coriander. So if you're after coriander and that's why you plant cilantro, that's a good sign. I'm really not. I use cilantro in salsa, so I don't want it to bolt. I just cut across the top of the plant, and then usually it'll grow back. Now, being that it's August now, we'll see how much more of it grows back, but if this starts bolting again pretty quickly, I'll just grab the rest and this will be good. And then I'll succession sow this. I usually sow cilantro every couple weeks, like through August. That way, as my tomatoes are coming up for salsa, I can have fresh cilantro. So this will not be the end of the cilantro, but this is not a bad little harvest. This will be used to make maybe some fresh salsa this weekend. I also just grabbed a little bit of romaine lettuce. It's from, oh sweet, you can see it from that bed over there. I just had 2 plants that are producing right now. Then I'll get ready to sow a few more seeds here in August. That way we have a nice fall crop. But yeah, this is a good little amount. Enough for Dylan and I to have some salad tonight. Carrots are nowhere near ready to harvest yet. These are the ones that I put in right after I pull my broccoli, but right around this time, when they're about, I don't know, 4 inches tall or so, this is when I like to go through and thin them. And by thin them, I mean I just go through here and I pull any like extra seedlings that I don't want, because carrots are a root vegetable. They grow underground in the soil. They need a lot of room to get really big. So I like to have like 2 to 3 fingers of space in between each seedling. And right now you can see that there's not a whole lot of space in between them at all. So I need to come through here and just pull wherever I can to create space. So for example, let's look over here. I've got this carrot here and this one here. So I'm gonna pull that one. That way there's enough room between this one and the next one, which is kind of just now germinating, but there's enough room there. There's room there. And then here I've got 2. So I'm gonna pull one. And then here I've got a lot going on. So I need to gently kind of pull just where I can. Got one there, so I'm gonna pull this one, pull these 2 in between here. That way I can fit, I guess, a finger there. Could probably do a little better, but well, you know what? This is what I'll do. I'll pull this guy, and then good enough space between these 2. But You can see it here, kind of how dense it is. Well, it's dense in spots. Like that area, this area, and this area had good germination. And I kind of had a little bit of a gap and then good germination again. So yeah, not bad overall, but I'm just gonna go through here and thin those. So I'll give you a quick little look. Here's before, how dense it is. Here is after. So I pulled a ton of them and then I just throw them into the compost. It's kind of sad to see them all thinned out because there were just so many before, but these, now that they have the room to grow and they're not fighting for as much space and nutrients, they will take off. They will fill this bed out pretty quickly. I just took a quick look through all of my tomato plants and I can't find any more hornworms. So I think between the one I got a little bit ago with you guys, and I think there was one that I saw this morning, I think that's probably it for now, at least in terms of like threatening ones. So the last thing on my list, unless I'm forgetting something, is I need to do something about the squash vine borer. I had vine borer on one zucchini plant last year out of 5 and none of my acorn squash. So it really wasn't an issue and I didn't really do anything to like fight vine borer last year. But this year, with this whole trellis being pumpkins, acorn squash, and butternut squash, it has become a huge issue. You can see all of these leaves next to me are really wilty. There were a ton of yellow leaves as well, but over the last, I don't know if you can even see this one, it's really not even that bad. Over the last week, like every time I come out in the garden, I bring my pruners and I cut the yellow leaves. So there's really not a whole lot of those on here, but basically that was like the first sign that I saw where I knew I had a vine borer problem, was the wilty leaves and the yellowing leaves. Because if you're not familiar, squash vine borer, I guess they come up from the soil. They lay eggs on the first like inch or inch and a half of the stem of your squash plant. Those eggs hatch into larvae, they burrow into the stem, and then they eat your plant from the inside out. That is preventing the plant from being able to take up water and take up nutrients, which is why they will start to wilt and turn yellow and just look really sad. And if you have a bad enough infestation, I have been told it can take your plant out in a matter of days or weeks. And for me, this really started about a week and a half ago. So as soon as I started seeing these yellow leaves, I actually went to the stem of each plant and I took a pair of scissors and I did like a slash, like a vertical slash on the stem, and then I like opened the stem up, and then I took a nail, which you should probably use like tweezers or something, but whatever, I had a nail from the garage, and I dug out a bunch of larvae. So there's these really big open gashes, and because I got so many larvae, I feel like I had it under control. And then things were still wilting, so I got some of this BT stuff. I'll link this in the description. This is what like everyone was recommending to use. So I got some of this, and then I've got these syringes, and I've been injecting the BT into the stems in those openings and then a few other places throughout. And I'm planning on injecting with the BT every week, and I'm hoping that that will do the trick, and I'm hoping that that will, you know, fight off the vine borer. I am just going to get these syringes, and I ordered different syringes, or I used different syringes last week, and they absolutely sucked. Like, they were breaking and they were getting clogged up from the actual plant stems. So I got different ones this time, and if I like these, oh, these look like big dogs. Yeah, these look a lot more intense than the other ones. If I like these after today, I will, what's going on? Okay, I will link them. I will link everything in the description in case you have this problem too. And I'm already, oh, you know what? It's not tightened. Here we go. All right. So I'm gonna get this, and I'm just going in. I know this looks crazy, but I'm just going into the base of the plant, into the stem, and injecting this. Oh my gosh, why don't this work? If these syringes suck too, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have a meltdown. This is the problem, is you stick the needle into the stem of the plant and the needle like clogs up with the plant. This is going to make me so angry. Okay. Wow. First one didn't work. All right, let's try again. Just out here with my needles in my garden, as if that's not weird. And try to go in at a different access point, maybe on a better angle. Let's see. Please work. I do not have... Oh my gosh. You guys, it's not working. Am I going in at a thick spot? It's like getting clogged. Am I doing something really wrong? Whoa. I'm not good at this stuff. All right, I just did one of these off camera and it worked. So let's try again. So I've got the needle going in right here, and then it is working. Nice. I'm just injecting a little bit in the stem there, and then I'm also doing some down here. Nice. That is working. And I think you can see at the base of these plants, I added this like pink wrap because this is where I cut them open and dug the larva out, and then I didn't want it to be so exposed like to the elements and have other bugs dig in there. So I wrapped the bases, and I don't know if it's doing anything or working, but that's what I felt was a good idea. I'm gonna do this one over here now. This little hole here. Gonna inject here. I don't know what I'm doing differently with these ones, but these syringes want to work. I'm still not linking these though, because I do still think they suck, but yeah, that's the gist of it. I just fought with those syringes for way longer than I would like to admit, but I was able to successfully inject every pumpkin plant, every acorn squash, every butternut squash with a little bit of that BT. So hopefully it gets to work, because looking at the wilt that's going on and the yellowing of the leaves is making me really depressed. I will say these butternuts right here next to me, these leaves look whoa, there's an ant. These leaves look the best. And I have heard that sometimes butternuts can be more resistant to squash vine borer. So if that's true, and if I learn that this season, I'm definitely gonna plant more butternuts next year, because the fight against the vine borer is just really annoying. I think that's it for me. I've been out here for a while now. It's getting a lot hotter, a lot sunnier. I'm starving. It's time to go in. If you enjoyed this video, definitely let me know in the comments or leave a like. These vloggy style videos are kind of newer for me. I feel like I don't post a lot of stuff like this, but they're my favorite content to consume. Hopefully you guys like them, but if not, you can also let me know that too. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I will leave those links in the description. Hope your garden this season is looking awesome. I hope you're having a great season in general, and thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.